Hi, friends. Welcome back to the Couch Crocheter. We're at episode 106, Mandala Challenge for myself of 2022, and this is number 2. Hi, friends, and welcome back to the Couch Crocheter. I wanted to stop up tonight and finish up the Mandala Blanket. When I left, I stayed up here last night and worked on it. Yeah, my days always get confused because I'm bouncing around. So when I stayed up here last night, I had 3 rows of the purple left to do and then the border that it asked for. So first I'm going to go over where I got the pattern from, and it is Leisure Arts Mindful Mandala Afghans. And this says it's $12.99, but I highly doubt that that's what I paid. I usually just shop clearance, so I imagine I did not pay much for this. So the one that I chose, and I know that this says that it's a rainbow, but I decided not to go with the rainbow. But the one that I chose, and you guys helped me pick this out actually, was Rainbow Mandala Afghan. Now again, I do know and see that it is supposed to be done in rainbow according to the pattern, and there was a couple of requests to do it in bright rainbows, but I am not buying any new yarn this year unless it is for an order or something that, I need to complete an order. So I didn't feel like I had the bright colors that I wanted to do it in. So then I chose what I have an abundance of and what I thought would go together. So what I chose, well, first let's go over the pattern. This Mandala Afghan was a breeze, and I thoroughly enjoyed doing it. You do have to count your stitches or use stitch markers, which I'm not very good at using stitch markers because I always forget to move them up, and then I always forget, am I in that one or the one before, the one after, and then I feel like I have to go back and count my stitches anyway. So this is a pattern that you do have to count your stitches for. But it's easy enough because it's just an increase by 2 in every section. So it called for a whole bunch of other colors that I did not use. The pattern called for a J size hook, and I do believe, yes, I did. I used a J hook or a 5.75 millimeter. This is one of the ones that I got at Walmart in the kit that I'd gotten many moons ago. So I did use a J hook. I followed the pattern exact except for the border. It tells you that it wants to do white in the border. Because I didn't follow the color pattern of this, and you'll see what I used in the pattern that I did follow of my own color. I chose, because it says to finish off your last round with a slip stitch in every stitch and then tie off. I chose a different color than I used in the body of the Afghan, and I went with a darker color of the same yarn, and I chose to do a half double crochet in every stitch around and then followed it up with a slip stitch. I wanted to do just the slip stitch in the same color, and I did like a little section of it. And I thought that it didn't look like it ended. It didn't look like it was completed. In this pattern that they have in the book, they start off, and I'll show you. See how they start off in white and then go through the colors of the rainbow and then end also in white. So it looks like it has a start and a ending. So my start was gray, which is fine because that's the color I started off with. But then it just didn't look like it ended. It looked like I fell short and I just stopped. I wanted a definite ending. And I didn't want to go 3 more sections and then slip stitch in a whole nother color. I just wanted something that would tie it all in, be different, and make you focus actually on the body because it is darker on the outside and then lighter shades on the inside. So that was my thinking. I love this book. I don't know which one I'm going to do next, but I do know that it's going to be out of this book. Y'all know how much I love sewing. So I kind of want to do one that's not a lot of sewing, which they're all a lot of sewing. So we'll see. I'm not sure. I'm not sure which one I'm going to do next. And I might actually do the same one that I just did in an ombre colors of purple, because I do have an abundance of solid purples. Or I might do the Rockwell mandala, but that one seems like that's a ton of sewing. The star mandala looks like it's a lot as well. I don't know. We'll see. There is another round one in here that does not require sewing. I might do that one. But already, according to the stitch guide, something does not make sense. But I'm sure I'll be able to Google that not making sense part, watch a tutorial on it, and then I will be able to figure out. So I think the next one I'm going to do, and again, it's a circle. Okay, it does use a number 4. For some reason, it looked thicker on there. It's called the Sea Salt Circle Afghan. I think I might try that one next. Because that one also does not require any sewing. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm going to do a little bit more research, find out what I can find online. Okay, so the Afghan itself, wait, did it even tell you what the measurements are after you do it? Oh, I wonder. Because before the farmhurst... Oh, what was after that? Oh, here it is. I'm just seeing if it tells you, like, what the measurements were afterwards. So I can, like, kind of compare. But it does not. It gives you a gauge. But I'm not about to measure that and do all that math. It's just not my thing tonight. But it does not tell you, other than doing all this math in your gauge, which my gauge is obviously not going to be the same. But my Afghan turned out to be 48 inches across. And because it's round, it's 48 inches round. Which I think is pretty big. I think it turned out pretty big. So I'm going to insert pictures of it here laid out on the floor because it was too big for the couch. I did pre-block it already. Just sprayed it down. Stuck a couple of pins at some points. You know, went with my hand, stretched it all out, pinned it. And then I let it sit up here for about an hour until it dried. I just unpinned it off the floor. It smells amazing. So here's pictures of it. And then the next picture will be kind of like a close-up-ish of the stitches, just so you get, like, you know, a better idea of the detail within it. And then, guys, here it is live. And like I said, I do believe that it turned out much bigger than I anticipated. And let me tell you how much I'm loving the colors. So let's go over the yarn that I used. I don't know what just fell. Oh. Ugh. So yeah, let's go over the yarn I used. The first color that I used, the yarn is Handmade Modern worsted yarn, 100% acrylic, 219 yards, 200 meters, 3.5 ounces or 100 grams. This is a Target brand yarn. It is considered a number 4. The recommended needle size is a 5mm US 8. The recommended hook size is the same, 5mm or an H8. It is made in, it just says origin, India. This was all part of the yarn that Honey got me for I forget whether it was my birthday present or when we first moved up here. And well, we didn't move into when I first, well, I did move in. I moved in all my stuff and my yarn and everything here. I don't know if he got it for me then. I forget, guys. I know that there's a video of it. I think it might have been my birthday. But he ended up getting me like a case of each of these colors for practically next to nothing, which is why I used it, because I do have an abundance of it. So the first color that I used was charcoal. So this is how many yards? 219. 219 and probably a third of this one. So we'll go 75. We'll go about approximately 300 yards was used of the charcoal gray. And while I'm calculating the yardage, I'm just going to write it down real quick so I don't have to recalculate it in a bit. Okay, where are we here? June. Okay, so here's where July started. Okay. 2 pair slippers. Okay. So this is number 2 mandala. So far I said 300 yards. So that was the gray. And then the second color that I used in the lineup was the blue. And I'm not going to go over the specs. I'm just going to go over the color. This one was royal. I did use more of that one. So I'm going to go with 1.5 with this. So actually, if this is a third, this can't be 300. So it's 219. Oh, yeah, it is. Okay. So 1.5 of those would be, yeah, because I'm 75 insurance. 1.5 would be, actually, this would be closer to like 275. And then this one's probably closer to like 325. Yeah, 325. Okay, and the next color I used, which I used, you know, more of that one because it was the last one on there, was Amethyst. And that one I'm going to go with 375. And then the border that I did, it might look like it is black or dark in the camera. I don't really know how that showed up. I didn't look yet. But it's actually called Midnight. It's kind of like a navy blue, but not any kind of shine or sheen or any kind of flare. It's kind of a flat navy blue. Not that navy's, you know, shiny or anything, but I don't know, that just reminds me of a darker navy blue, but it's not black. And that with the border and, well, that half double crochet around it and then a slip stitch around it. I'm going to go with 100 yards on that one. Mandala number 2. So guys, that is mandala number 2. And I'm going to wind these all up and, you know, see what I can do to reuse these in another project. So yeah, that's all I got is a finished mandala. And I say that's all, like I haven't been working really, really hard on it. Let me tell you, like the last couple days when I've been up here, that's all I've been working on is this mandala. I have another project that I'm working on that I started, and I kind of don't know why I started and what I did, but I'm working it. And then I'm working on the Grateful Dead Dancing Bear hoodie. I'm working on one of those. I have one ear to make and then attach both the ears. And then I have the beard thing to finish up. And then that one's done. So I do have 2 works in progress at the moment that I'll show you next time around once I do a little bit more progress on At least one of them, I think, is turning out gorgeous. I am loving it. I just don't know why I do this to myself. It's kind of like a little form of torture, really. I chose really, really thin yarn to do a stitch. And you know how thin yarn works up. You can work for like 3 hours and you're like, I moved an inch. But it's working and it's definitely keeping me occupied. And it is something that I do not necessarily have to think about. So it is one of those projects that I'll be taking to baseball games and, while I'm sitting around not thinking about anything. The other one I have to think about, and this one I had to think about and count 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 some more. But I loved it and it turned out amazing. Anywho, I believe we're going to finish our video off with Melody B. Tie, Journey to the Heart, Daily Meditation on the Path to Freeing Your Soul. And we are on February. February 20th. Spread your wings and fly. That's kind of crazy. I put Janis Joplin in my CD player in my car, as if I guess do people even listen to CDs anymore? I don't know. I guess I do. My radio is not all that great. It's an older car. It's not like it has like, a plug-in that I can hook my phone up to it, listen through the speakers. So I play CDs and I was pop Janis in, and that wing, that line is in one of her songs, and it really kind of hit me today. I listened to that song like twice in a row. So let's see what this has to say. Maybe this one's really meant for me. I sat on the ground on a dirt road that wandered off a main highway in Idaho. I leaned against a tree and watched a mother eagle and her babies in a nest overhead. She fussed as she protected them, watching me closely, responding with her call to any noise that she heard. She was very protective now, but someday it would be time to push them out of the nest. It would be time to teach them to fly. Many of us have been pushed out of the nest. Something unexpected happened, and our world changed. We may have fought violently or valiantly to get back into the nest, to return to the safety of life as we knew it. But life had pushed us out. We had no choice but to flap our wings and learn the best that we could. See how magical this time has been. See how much you've learned. With all your fears and resistance, it has been a grand and powerful time. You flailed around a bit, wondering who to trust. You tried to trust others, then found it didn't work. Finally, you understood. The very lesson you were learning was that of trusting yourself. You were learning to listen to and trust your inner voice. You were learning to open your heart. Despite all of your fears, you have done a grand job. Look how much you've changed. See all the powers you've gained. You've opened up to your healing powers, your creative powers too. You know and sense things in a way that used to seem beyond reach and now seems both magical and commonplace. Your instincts and intuition are finely tuned. Your inner voice is clear. And despite all of your fears about being abandoned, you now see how much you are loved. When life pokes and prods you, it's not punishment or abuse. You're being pushed out of the nest. Spread your wings and take flight. See how well you can fly. Guys, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for stopping by. Be safe and stay groovy. Bye.